welcome to another edition of Lifting Our Voices, a weekly look at church music. Well, that music I was just playing for you was the Kyrie from Mass of the Convents by the French composer François Couperin, written in the 18th century. Now, I chose that because today I want to spend a little time talking about the Kyrie, that part of our liturgical worship service that comes near the beginning, right after we've done the gathering song. As a matter of fact, the Kyrie is part of that section we call the gathering. But more about that later. In its simplest form, the Kyrie is simply a three-statement. Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. It was originally left in the early Mass in the Greek form, so we have Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison. But of course, in English-speaking countries, we most often translate that to Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. Now that's pretty simple. So in a lot of traditions, it gets a little expanded. For instance, in the Roman Rite, in the Roman Catholic Church, the priest might say, "You were sent to heal the contrite heart, Lord have mercy." The congregation would respond, "Lord have mercy." And then he would say, "You came to call sinners, Christ have mercy. You are seated at the right hand of the Father to intercede for us, Lord have mercy." Now, in the Lutheran tradition, we also have expanded that chant. By the way, there's a term for that called a trope. Now, we use that term now to mean something that's cliche, maybe metaphorical, but there's another meaning of the word trope, and it means a little bit of an embellishment that is added to an existing chant. So we do that. We add something. And in the Lutheran Church, ours goes something like this. The cantor begins by saying, "In peace let us pray to the Lord. For the peace from above and for our salvation, let us pray to the Lord. For the peace of the whole world and for the well-being of the Church of God and for the unity of all, let us pray to the Lord. For this holy house and all who offer here their worship and praise, let us pray to the Lord. Help, save, and comfort and defend us, gracious Lord." So that's sort of our expanded Kyrie. But that's nice, but why do we even do that? Well, as I said before, the Kyrie is part of the gathering part of our worship service. Our worship service has four gigantic parts: gathering, word, meal, and sending. Now, by gathering, we don't necessarily mean everybody gathering in the church. It's also gathering our spirits, bringing our spirits together. And that's where the Kyrie becomes very important to us. Because ultimately, the Kyrie is a prayer. Lord, have mercy on us. But it's not so much a penitential asking for forgiveness kind of Lord, have mercy. But it's more of a prayer that God in his mercy will lead us all as a community to really authentic, prayerful worship. And even beyond that, it's an opportunity to bring us all together, all of us in God's creation together, as we ask God for his mercy to lead us in very authentic, heartfelt worship. So as we enter worship this weekend, as we get to the Kyrie, instead of it being that mechanical thing that we do week after week after week, let's use this as an opportunity to pray that God will lead us as we approach God in a spirit of authentic worship. As old as the Kyrie is, it continues to be made new every generation. In the last generation, we came up with a new setting of the liturgy, and it uses this petition at the end of the Kyrie: "That we may live out your impassioned response to the hungry and the poor, that we may live out truth and justice and grace. Let us pray to the Lord." I'd like to go to the piano now and play for you a little bit of that setting of the liturgy and that part of the Kyrie. And in this setting of the Kyrie, number one, we use those old Greek words, Kyrie eleison, but in the middle of it, we get to sing, "On our world and on our way. May the grace of God be with us and all the world." And here's a little bit of the Kyrie from that setting. Kyrie eleison, on our world and on our way. Kyrie And may God's grace be with you, and I will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.